It's the Thursday edition of our In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. Tom Leach along with Keeneland's director of simulcasting, Jim Goodman, as we take a look at the final four races for the Pick Four. But first we'll start with the feature race on Thursday, which is an allowance test on the turf at 1.5 miles, non-winners of two other than the male counterpart to the female version of this allowance race that was contested on Wednesday. And I've got a nice big field here. Jim, who did you like?
Well, every time I look at these turf races, I stick on Chad Brown. I'm not going to pick Chad Brown here, although I like him. Innovation Economy, the 3 looks like coming into the race the right way, just like every Chad Brown horse. Ascending buyers, got the distance 2 times back at Belmont. I'm not going to pick him, okay? So I'm going to pick DeVelo, the Argentinian horse that's 12 to 1 on the morning line. Ooh. Coming out of the Pan American Grade 2 at the Gulfstream, and didn't get anywhere close to imagining, but they thought enough of the horse to bring it from a $62,000 optional claiming that he almost won. Ran behind Biz the Nurse, one of the favorites here over the weekend in a big race, and that race tells me that running behind Biz the Nurse, they thought a lot of him. He didn't do well at Gulfstream and the Pan American. That was too big a shot, but dropping back into an allowance race, I think he's got a shot at 12 to 1. So I'm going to take him on top. Innovation Economy, the 3 is an obvious use underneath, and Daddy's Kid, the 9, ran well on soft turf at Belmont. The only horse in here with 4 wins too. When you look at a race like this, that's one of those condition races. It says 4-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races other than, or which have never won 3 races. Well, all the other horses here have never won 3 races, and this horse has won 4. So I looked at Daddy's Kid as a real possibility for the win.
Interesting.
So that's one of those things that one of my clerks here at Keeneland uses that angle all the time. And invariably, when you're looking at condition races, the fact that the horse has won 4 times, no matter what the competition is, they're better than the horses that have won 2 times in general. Now, that's not always the case, but I think that's a good angle to use Daddy's Kid. So I'm going to use DeVelo on top with Innovation Economy and Daddy's Kid underneath.
And I went 2 or 3 different directions before I finally settled on the 2 Heyaret, and I have no idea if that's the correct pronunciation, but it's Kieran McLaughlin horse. And the horse that he beat last time in March at Gulfstream came back to win, and it's the second start off a layoff. This is a horse that is just starting to get good and is giving away a good bit of experience, but I just like that last race a lot, and McLaughlin's been really hot, and he's got a shot at the training title, so maybe picking some spots to make a run at that. So I'm going to take a shot with the 2-horse Heyaret, but I would spread out in the Pick 4 certainly, and in this race I would use Mr. Jenny, the 1 with him, the 3 Innovation Economy, the 6 Secretive with Castellano, got a little improvement last fall out of that one, the 12 Perfect Timber. Adfield's horses have been kind of quietly running really well, not always winning, but just running better than their odds. And I probably would throw in like what you said about Daddy's Kid, so I would throw in that one as well, and build a rather large Pick 4 ticket. So gonna have to cut it down somewhere. I'm going to take 3 horses on the front end: Fort Davis, and this is in the 6th race. Fort Davis, Town Extension, and Classic Brew. I wanted to go to the 5 horses as well, but I'm going to trim that one to keep the ticket at manageable. 7th race, I'm going to take Kissed by a Rose as my pick to win. I'm also going to use the 5, 6, and 8 along with the 3. And then in the feature, going to use 5 horses: 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. And then in the last race, Iron in the Fire, the 6, and Wonderful Remark, the 4, both from the Wesley Ward barn. I gave the slight edge to the 6 because he's worked at Keeneland and the other one hasn't. But either one of the Ward trained, it would be hard to pick one of those 2 to single in the last leg of this. But if you want to trim the ticket, maybe you take a stand with the one that's worked at Keeneland, the 6. Otherwise, I'm going to use 4 and 6 in the last leg. What about you?
I'm going to agree with you on the last leg, so I'll build it backward. The Pick 4 early, the 6th race, I'm going to use 5, 6, 7, 9, which I am going to use the horse that you left out, Alexandre. Yeah. Classic Brew, the 6, the 7, Fort Davis, and the 9, Town Extension. I go 4 deep in the 2nd race with 3, 6, 7, 8. I could be talked into singling Kissed by a Rose. I think that race at Tampa sets her up very well for this. Excuse me, and dropping from maiden special weight to 40. So I think that Kiss by Rose is probably the standout there. On a bigger ticket, I would use the 6 Greeley Striker, the 7 Red Lettuce Day, and the 8 Marquee Cow Gal. I would use the 3 horses that I talked about in the feature race: Innovation Economy, the 3, Devello, the 7, and the 9 Daddy's Kid. And I'd take a stand as well with Wesley Ward in the last race, 4 and 6, Wonderful Remark, and Iron in the 5. I think it's a $48 ticket.
Best of luck with your wagers on the Thursday card at Keeneland. Just one day left to talk about. We'll do that in our next edition of the In the Money podcast for the Friday closing day card. And then we'll be back with our regular Saturday podcast about stakes races all around the country. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and this is the In the Money podcast.